All right. I wanted to give my impressions on Fallout 4. I know this is kind of late, but I wanted to catch up here and let you guys know what I think of the game after around 30 hours or so into the experience. So, Fallout 3 was the first Fallout game I ever played, and I fell in love with the game from then on forward. I just loved the RPG mechanics. I loved the amazing open world that felt, very dense, but also very just full of just, lots and lots of things to do and just many surprises and how every single experience, every single time you jumped into the world, it was like you met something new every single time, and it really helped make the game feel very original and extraordinary. And I really loved Fallout 3. I played it twice. My first initial playthrough was I'm shameful to admit this, but my original playthrough of the game was basically around 30 hours long, and I just focused on the main story and I did all the DLC and did not do any side content. I was one of those people, back in the day where I just kind of went through my games. I didn't really care. And unfortunately, when I played Fallout 3, I just kind of rushed through it, to be honest with you. But the past year or so, I went back and replayed Fallout 3, and I did every single side mission in the game. And I did all the DLC, I did the whole story, and I ended up completing it in around 70 hours, I want to say. And so my overall thoughts on Fallout 3 were, very positive because I really loved the game. So jumping into Fallout New Vegas, which was the next game after that, I actually didn't enjoy it. And I felt like it was a carbon copy, sort of really poorly done, unnecessary expansion to Fallout 3, to be honest. I was one of those people. I don't like westerns, right? I just don't like the western time period. And even though that Fallout New Vegas was post-apocalyptic, it was very much heavily western influenced. It felt like a cowboy, post-apocalyptic thing, and I just don't like that time era. So I hated the, the location of the game and the theme of the game. And I really felt that, the game just was basically just a crappier version of Fallout 3 in terms of its story and also in terms of its location and everything. I just did not enjoy it. Um, Fallout 4 is here, and I am a bit surprised by what Fallout 4 gave me. And that's not to say that it's necessarily bad, but I was expecting something else. And I think a lot of people who, played the previous Fallout games would agree. Fallout 4 is a much more casualized Fallout than I think a lot of people are caring to admit. Fallout 3 was a very tough, hardcore RPG that really, it was really focused on its RPG mechanics. Fallout 4 feels like an FPS with some light RPG mechanics, to be completely honest with you. I mean, there's elements of Fallout 4 that, have moved on and, just evolved since Fallout 3, but there's a lot of things in Fallout 4 that have been taken out, that were in Fallout 3 that I think kind of hurt the experience overall, that kind of made the game more of a shooting gallery than I really, would have hoped for. For one, there's no weapon degradation. Your weapons do not break down whatsoever in Fallout 3. Your weapons broke down, and you would have to find duplicates to repair those weapons or go see a vendor. You no longer have weapons breaking down. And a lot of people are going to say, well, isn't that just less annoying? I mean, wasn't it just kind of annoying to sit there and, focus, like do Fallout or playing Fallout 3, have your weapons break down, things like that? You can say that, but for me, I mean, even though that kind of would suck when you're in firefights, you're like, damn, this weapon's broken down. I can't use it anymore. It made the experience and the feel of owning a gun just much more enjoyable. And you knew that you had to get duplicates or go see a vendor because that was like your favorite weapon. You have to keep on repairing your weapon. And this game does not have any of that. In addition to that, there's no karma system. So in Fallout 3, you would, if you stole stuff or you had like bad karma, you would basically be an asshole in Fallout 3. People would put out bounties for you and send mercenaries after your ass. So you would be like exploring the world. Some person would come up to you with like a group of other heavily armed men, and they'd be like, "Are you so and so?" You'd be like, "Yeah." we have an order on you, prepare to die, and they would like open fire on you, and it was like such a cool moment. And that's completely out of Fallout 4. There's no karma system whatsoever, and that's kind of disappointing. Is that element is one that I really liked in Fallout 3, because it made you feel like you were affecting the world in some way, and you don't get that in Fallout 4. I just really wish that they, would have kind of kept the karma system and the weapon degradation, things like that, because those are what really helped make the Fallout 3 experience like a post-apocalyptic hardcore world. In addition to that, the game just feels very much easier in comparison to Fallout 3. It's just it's not, that's not to say that it's necessarily bad, but I mean, there's a lot of elements where you're kind of just grazing by things, and it's like everything just kind of gives like a weird kind of feeling. It's like from the beginning of the game, you feel very overpowered, and in Fallout 3, you felt very underpowered. You had to work your way to the top. In this game, it's like they give you all this ammo, they give you all these stim packs. I mean, in the first 5 hours of the game, and you can see it on stream, I found like stim packs out the ass. And if you never played Fallout 3, stim packs in Fallout 3 were extremely rare. Like when you found one, you're like, oh my god, a stim pack, yes, right? And it's like in Fallout 4, like I'm carrying around like 20 stim packs in my inventory. I'm like, oh, what's the big deal? And I keep healing myself, and I keep finding many. It's like, it's a lot, that it's just it's a lot easier to maneuver around the game. They took out a lot of elements in there that really helped make it feel very special. So overall, those are my negative thoughts on it. I don't like the fact that they took out rep and degradation. I don't like the fact that there's no karma system anymore. I don't like the fact that the game feels just much more easier. In addition to that, the dialogue options have just made a huge hit in terms of like anything meaningful. Everything's very streamlined, and I hate how the dialogue system has like very few words to answer a question, and then your character goes and completely says like a few sentences. But like if you take a look at this, like I really liked how Fallout 3 system, they told you the exact words that your character was gonna say, and it's like that you would know. And there was like a speech perk that you would upgrade that would allow you to manipulate and influence other NPCs. There's a similar thing in Fallout 4, but I really feel like it's not it's not well done enough. Like you have a color combination in some conversation. You'll see like a words marked in yellow, or words marked in orange or red, and this signifies the difficulty of how hard it is to manipulate that subject. But it doesn't always seem to happen. Like even if something's yellow and you say something, which should be like if something's yellow, it means it's really easy, right? You will sometimes fail that situation, and there's no percentage to tell you how likely you are to succeed in that conversation. In Fallout 3, it would tell you, here, you're 93% likely to succeed in asking this question and getting a response that you'd want. And there's just none of that in Fallout 4. It's been completely taken away. I would have even liked it if they went with that system, but did something Deus Ex did. If you remember, Deus Ex Human Revolution had single words detailing the theme of what exactly your character is going to say, Adam Jensen. But if you highlighted the words, it would tell you the whole conversation that that Adam Jensen would say to that character. And it's like they could have copied that literally, and that would have been fine, but they just didn't. It's very streamlined. It's very much BioWare Mass Effect, but it doesn't feel as well done as like BioWare's Mass Effect or Dragon Age or anything like that. It feels kind of a letdown. I do like the fact that they wanted to do voice acting characters, and this helps give your character more of a personality and helps you feel like you're interacting more with the world. But there's a lot of times where you would go back to a character and they would say and repeat the same lines over and over and over again. Like there's this one lady in the garage that I rescued from these drug dealers. I walk up to her, and every single time, like even though it was 25 hours ago that I have actually rescued her and I did all this shit, it's been days in the game, she still says to me the same exact lines. Wow, I'm so glad that you took care of that for me. It's like, shut up, all right? You don't need to say the exact same thing every single time I go up to you. Now here's what I like about Fallout 4. The shooting mechanics, just those are the biggest thing. Yes, anyone who played Fallout 3 and even New Vegas knows that unless you were using VATS, the shooting mechanics felt like shit. It was unresponsive, and if you didn't have if you didn't have a mouse and keyboard, you weren't hitting jack shit. All right. In Fallout 4, you can literally play this game as an FPS, but but because the controls in Fallout 4 for shooting are so satisfying and feel really good, it almost diminishes the value of VATS entirely. And that's if you noticed in my gameplay and all the streams that I put up on the channel, like you'll see me use in these firefights. I'll barely be using VATS, and the thing is, I kick ass without using VATS. You would have to use VATS constantly in Fallout 3 if you wanted to hit something and not waste ammo, unless you had a mouse and keyboard to control the shooting. In Fallout 4, you can literally play this game like a straight up FPS, like Call of Duty or Destiny or Battlefield, whatever, and you can do completely fine without ever using VATS. The shooting mechanics are amazing. They're a great upgrade from Fallout 3, but because of that, they completely diminish the value that VATS ever had. And I find myself not even using VATS. As cool as the finishing moves are, it's just, again, the shooting is just much more satisfying for me just to play the game like a straight up FPS. In addition to that, the story, all right? Fallout 4 has a much more stronger story, and I feel as if the story is much more powerful when playing as a female character, all right? Fallout 3 story was good. It kept, it motivated you through it, but I feel like there's much more emotion involved in Fallout 4's story. The fact that you get to see the world before the nuclear apocalypse hits is a really cool, meaningful experience. Like, that first 10 minutes of playing is really freaking awesome and epic and really sets you in the environment. That's a great thing that they did. And I feel that when you're playing as a female, the whole mother going through, the whole post-apocalyptic wasteland searching for her son ultimately equals such a more powerful, engrossing story than just a father kind of going through this and looking for his son. You guys know, as a joke, I actually created my character and based her off of Halle Berry, the actress. And I kind of went through these jokes that, okay, this is like, the next season of Extant. Extant, if you guys don't know, was Halle Berry's new show that recently got canceled after season 2. Unfortunately, season 2 was amazing, but it kind of had a similar storyline where she was searching for her son. Her son was kidnapped from him, some alien thing. It was, again, science fiction. And I kind of, took that element and put it in this game. And I really feel like the story itself is better as a female character, just because your character, the female character, kind of follows suit with some of those great female heroines, such as, Ellen Ripley from Alien, or what's her name, Sandra Bullock from Gravity, her character. These great sci-fi stories that have these female leads that really kind of feel like the story's powerful because of the female lead. And I feel like Fallout 4 is one of those, that the story is just much more meaningful as a female character rather than playing as a male character. Now, I know some people may disagree or may not even notice that, but that's just the way that I feel. I feel that the story for me is much more engrossing playing as a female character, and I just feel like it fits the whole premise more, in all honesty. Visually, all right, I have to say this. This game has great lighting, but everything else is shitty. All right, this game looks like it's an upgraded last-gen port. And it's embarrassing. I asked people on stream, I could have swore Skyrim looked better than this. Skyrim, to me, looked much, even, I'm talking about Skyrim, just on its own. Not modded, not anything like that. I'm just talking about, the base Skyrim, all right? I feel like that game looked more impressive playing on the Xbox 360 than playing on my PC at 4K 60 frames per second. To me, the game looks hideous at times, downright ugly at times like that. And 4K only helps with the aliasing and distance viewing for this game. It does nothing else. And the textures are just, again, like downright ugly. And it's kind of sad because, like, you imagine this game with like Witcher 3 visuals and you're like, holy shit, that would be amazing, right? I know a lot of people want to say, well, graphics don't matter, graphics don't matter. You're wrong. Graphics do matter to some extent, right? But the thing is, like, you'll be I'm playing this game sometimes, and I keep feeling this thing keeps popping in my head, like, damn, that looks ugly. Like, just like looking at it, because it's so bad, it's noticeable. like even if a game isn't look as great as, and they're fine, but like, as long as it's not noticeable, this game has, like, some of these visuals are distracting, like, just downright distracting. It's just, you'll notice if you ever watch like some of my streamed videos, like, some of this stuff is just downright hideous. The lighting is the only thing that really sells this game for me. It really helps the visuals a lot, to be honest with you. If this game had dull lighting, it would really bring out all the deficiencies done in the visual department. Lighting looks great. The weather system is really nice. That's a brand new addition to the Fallout universe, and I really like the rain. It really makes everything look shiny. You have some nice reflections going on, and you get some foggy days, and it really helps make the game feel, again, more diverse and much more like a meaningful experience. Character models look hideous. But environments in certain lighting situations can look really good. So it really depends on the lighting in the game, to be completely honest with you. The game is completely unoptimized on PC. It's unoptimized on consoles. But the game has no SLI support, unfortunately, which makes no sense. The game is locked at 60 frames per second with VSync engaged. The game has no field of view adjuster or slider. The game has no ultra-wide support. The game has, to be honest with you, has like no ultra high visual, like, settings in there that would really make you like, damn, I'm glad that's in there. There's no HBAO plus. The ambient inclusion in this game is horrendous. It doesn't really do a good job. There's no, like, really advanced anti-aliasing techniques. So a lot of the times this game feels very, like, short-minded, to be completely honest. Like, it feels almost rushed, and I don't want to say that, kind of, because, like you guys, I was looking forward to this game. I've been waiting, just like you, for 7 years for this game to come out, and now that it's out, although I can say I am spending a lot of time with it and I am enjoying my game experience overall, there are a lot of elements that they took out to further casualize the entire game that I really felt kind of hurt the whole experience in the process. So in short, my Fallout 4 impressions are, it's a lot of fun, but there's also a lot of issues with the game that I think many people, many hardcore Fallout players and lovers of Fallout 3 like myself, are taking issue with the whole thing. I love the new shooting mechanics, but again, it degrades the value of VATS. I feel like the story is much more better than what we got in Fallout 3, which is nice. We don't have Liam Neeson, unfortunately, but what we do get is a pretty powerful storyline. And keep in mind, I've not beat the game yet, so don't write like things in the comments like, "Oh, what'd you think of the ending?" Blah blah. I didn't beat the game yet, but so far I'm enjoying the storyline. The side missions are decent, however, I hate this bullshit endless content. There's all these missions that are marked on my Pip-Boy, and I'm not kidding you, like 6 out of the 8 missions are endless repeated side content. And I hate having like it's just a bullshit list, right? In addition, that just reminded me, the whole UI feels clunky. The map has way too many icons filled on it, to the point where when you set a marker, the marker gets lost in all the icons, and you have to zoom out and zoom back in to finally understand where your marker is pointing so you can follow it on the map. So it's like clunky UI, and a clunky UI along with the frustrating endless repeated side content just make the whole experience kind of feel like very overwhelming at times. I know there's base building in the game. To be honest, I don't give a shit because I don't play Fallout to play The Sims. If I wanted to play The Sims, I would go play The Sims, all right? I don't care about base building that much. I understand it there, and actually, to be completely honest with you, this was just taken from Skyrim's Hearthstone DLC, which, to be completely honest with you, was the best DLC for Skyrim since the other two expansions sucked. And I'm hoping that they can actually do better with Fallout 4's expansions. But I liked it in Skyrim. I spent about 6 hours building my own house in Skyrim with that DLC. And in this, for Fallout, I can't see myself ever trying this. I just don't care. There's no value to this. There's nothing. It's not like in Skyrim where you can have kids and adopt and foster kids and have them grow up in this house and things like that. It's not like that in Fallout. You're just a person, and it's like, oh, I can make a settlement, I can run caravans through. That's cool, but again, it's just more content to an already overwhelming experience, which is nothing to complain about. But it's stuff people like me are probably going to ignore this thing entirely. It's only like the people who like Minecraft and building stuff are probably gonna actually spend some time doing this. But that's it. All right, I wanted to give my thoughts on Fallout 4. Overall, again, it's positive. I just think they casualized the experience somewhat, and hoping that in Elder Scrolls 6 or the next Fallout game, we can get a new engine that's well optimized, and we can get like a complete overhaul of the UI and things like that, and just making the game feel well balanced. Instead of more casualized, which I think is what I think they casualized it because they know they're going to get a bigger audience this time around, a different audience than it was back in 2008 with Fallout 3, and that's just what happens, unfortunately. So yeah, like Fallout 4, not in love with it, but I like it, and to me, I feel like it should have been something a little bit more, waiting for 7 years. So let me know what you guys think. Have a good day, and thanks for watching.
Well, you're still alive. That either means you haven't gone after those super mutants yet, or good news.
Those super mutants won't be bothering you again.
I guess you were the right person for the job, huh? Thanks, friend. By the way, we've decided to support the Minutemen. We gotta help each other if we want things to get better.
I hope you find your son.
You ask me, freedom's always worth fighting for.
I took care of those super mutants. The settlers were relieved to not have them to worry about anymore.
Thank God. Super mutants. Civilians just don't stand a chance against them. As usual, I've got something else for you. Another here.